You did it. The ceremony is beautiful. You're standing there in your graduation gown, and for the first time in your life, people are calling you doctor. Your parents are weeping in the front row. They think you've punched your ticket to the 1%. Your friends are cheering, looking at you like you're a god who just conquered the mountain. You feel invincible. You have the power to heal, the power to save lives. But as you're shaking the dean's hand, there's a heavy, cold weight in your pocket. It's a piece of paper, a digital shadow. It says you owe $500,000, $500,000. You look at the number and you shrug. You're a doctor now, right? You'll be making the big bucks. You tell yourself you'll live like a student for 3 years, pay it all off, and then the real life begins. You are smiling for the photos. You are celebrating, and you are dead wrong. This isn't the beginning of your career. It's the first day of your life as a high-end indentured servant. Welcome to residency. You're 27 years old, but you feel 50. You're working 80, sometimes 90 hours a week. Your life is a blur of fluorescent hospital lights, cold black coffee, and that specific, depressing smell of cafeteria mystery meat. You're exhausted to the bone, the kind of tired that sleep can't fix. Your residency paycheck arrives, and it's a joke. It barely covers your rent and a few bags of groceries. But here's the kicker. While you're stitching up a patient at 3 a.m., that $500,000 debt isn't sleeping. It's awake. It's hungry. At a 7% interest rate, your debt is growing by over $100 every single day. That's $3,000 a month just in interest. You aren't even touching the principal. You're working yourself to death just to feed a monster that grows faster than you can bleed. You aren't a healer yet. You're just a battery for a bank. You're 32 now. You scroll through social media and it feels like a punch to the gut. Your friends from high school, the ones who didn't go to med school, the ones who started working at 22, they're buying houses, they're starting families, they're taking vacations to Italy. You're still living in a studio apartment that smells like old takeout. You're driving a 10-year-old sedan with a check engine light that's been on for 6 months. You meet someone, you fall in love, you talk about a future. But when you go to the bank for a mortgage, the loan officer looks at your debt-to-income ratio and literally laughs. You have the most prestigious job in the room, but on paper, you're worth less than zero. You are functionally poorer than the person delivering your pizza, because at least they don't owe $500,000 to the government. You're a doctor in public, but a ghost in the economy. Finally, you're a specialist. Your salary jumps to $300,000 a year. This is what you waited for, right? The dream. But then reality hits like a freight train. The tax man shows up first, taking a 40% bite out of your check because you're in a high bracket. Then comes malpractice insurance, another massive chunk. Then your professional fees, your boards, your continuing education, and then the student loan servicer knocks on the door. They don't care that you have a life to live. They want $5,000 every single month for the next 20 years. You look at your beautiful new house, but you realize it isn't yours. It belongs to the debt. You can't quit. You can't take a year off to find yourself. You can't even fail. If you stop working, the interest will swallow you whole. You aren't an elite professional. You are a slave in a white coat, locked in a cage of pure gold. The passion is gone. You realize you've spent 15 years of your life studying to help others, but you've become a person you don't recognize. The stress is starting to bleed into your work. When you look at your patients now, you don't see human beings with stories and families. You see billing codes. You see RVUs. You see 10 minutes of your time that needs to be monetized so you can make that next $5,000 payment. The system didn't train a healer. It didn't cultivate a scientist. It manufactured a high-income, debt-repayment machine. You're burnt out, cynical, and staring at a computer screen for 12 hours a day. You realize too late that the noble calling was just a clever marketing campaign to get you to sign your life away at 22. You're 50 years old. You're standing in your office and you click submit on the final payment. The balance says 0. You are debt-free. You should be screaming from the rooftops, but instead you just feel empty. You look back at the last 25 years and realize you missed it. You missed your 20s because you were a resident. You missed your 30s because you were a debt slave. You traded your best years, your energy, and your spirit for a title and a mountain of interest. You have the big house now. You have the luxury car. You have the money. But as you look in the mirror at the gray hair and the tired eyes, you realize the ultimate irony of the system. You finally have the money to live, but you no longer have the time to enjoy it. The house always wins.